Buzz pollination or sonication is a technique used by some bees, such as solitary bees and bumblebees. All flowers have anthers, and in most flowers, the anthers release the pollen really readily. You can even stick your finger into a center of a flower and rub it around and then look at your finger and you'll have the pollen on your finger. But other flowers have their anthers, the parts that stick up and hold the pollen, are completely sealed except for a small pore at the top, or they might have very small slits along the sides, and the pollen cannot be released unless the flower is actually buzzed at a specific frequency. That's where these solitary bees and bumblebees come into play, because they have the ability to go to that flower and they'll grip it tightly. They might even use their mouth parts to bite onto it, and they will vibrate their wing muscles very quickly. They're not moving their wings, they're just vibrating the muscles, and that vibration goes through the bee to the flower and causes that anther to get vibrated very quickly, which releases the pollen and it falls all over the bee. And when bees fly, their bodies create static electricity. So she's already fully charged. So when that pollen falls out, when she buzzes, it will land on her fur and stick, kind of like how cat hair on the couch sticks to your pants. And then she'll gather up that pollen and put it on some nectar with it to make it into a paste, attach it to her back legs, and she's ready to go. And then she has that pollen on her body. When she goes to the next flower and buzzes that one, the pollen will come off of her body and fertilize that second flower, and so on. More than half the bee species can do buzz pollination, but honeybees cannot. In yesterday's post, we talked about pollination in greenhouses, and some greenhouses will manually do pollination with small electronic vibrators or even electronic toothbrush to do buzz pollination on greenhouse plants, in the case where they don't have bumblebees to do the pollination for them in the actual greenhouse.